Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the third episode of the Gardens of Ramadan, a series brought to you by the Dar al-Ifta of Egypt. Today we're going to delve right into some of the important legal aspects of the month of Ramadan and some questions that were posed by some of you to us. The first question is it permissible for me as a person in the month of Ramadan to continue to do madmada or to gargle water in my mouth when I make wudu or ablution? The answer is yes. However, just as a person who is going to use a toothbrush and toothpaste should be cautious in the month of Ramadan, you also need to be cautious when you are doing madmada or gargling in the month of Ramadan as well. Why? Because anything that enters into your throat and into your digestive tract will invalidate your fasting. A person also asks, what if I am a person who has severe issues when it comes to thirst? Is it permissible not for me to drink water, but simply to put water into my mouth? Now, the answer is yes, it is permissible. However, just because it's permissible does not mean it is advisable. And so it's important for a person to realize that yes, you might be able to do this, but if you swallow any of this water, it will invalidate your fasting. The last question that was asked was about intimate relations with one's spouse. Is it permissible for them to have intimate relations with their spouse after the time of suhoor? The answer is yes. It is permissible for one to have intimate relations with their spouse after the time of suhoor. However, a person should be aware of how close and specifically what time the adhan of Fajr will go off. Why is that? As we discussed in previous episodes, the fasting begins at the time of the adhan of Fajr and not before and not after. Meaning what? That as soon as the adhan goes off, all food, drink, and intimate relations must stop, and not a moment after the adhan either. And so it is incumbent on this questioner to ensure that once the adhan goes off, the intimate relations have stopped. If they continue, that day of fasting has become invalid, and they must, unfortunately, redo that day of fasting, in addition to some other penalties that might come about. So let's talk a little bit about some spiritual guidance. This month of Ramadan is the most important month that we have in front of us. And with that being said, sometimes we might not understand its importance until we do one very important thing. We hold ourselves in account. We look at the sins that we have been indulging in. And when by doing that, we come to understand and to realize how much we need the month of Ramadan. So one takeaway or homework assignment that you might be able to do is to have a journal. Keep this journal from now until the start of Ramadan, and just for these few days, these few weeks that we have left, write down some of the sins that you might have engaged in. And as these sins accumulate and you come to the month of Ramadan, you'll begin to realize just how much you need this blessed month, a month that is filled with forgiveness. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God the Divine, to accept this month from us and to forgive us from all of our sins. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum.